Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in Game 2 between Sjow versus Sjow here on Metalopolis. Sjow spawned as the green Protoss player at the 9 o'clock position, meanwhile Sjow spawned as the red Terran player at the 12 o'clock position. Now this is what I call an ally spawn between these two locations, so these Naga watchtowers may not come into play all that much, and it will be a relatively short walking distance between these two bases. Also, as you expand, you will be expanding into your opponent, so I'm not sure how these additional expansions will come into play, or if they even will come into play, as Shark now throwing down a 10 supply depot. So pretty much standard build so far. We do see Sjow throwing down that standard 9 pylon as well, and doing a very early scout. And now Sjow, because of this close spawning location, may be able to get off a lot of harassment, and I believe that will give Sjow a significant advantage, as any SCV that's trying to build a barracks will be forced to pull off, and fresh SCVs continually trying to come out. We do see that one SCV trying to go after here, getting some points of damage, and now finally pulling back. So this one SCV already down to 0 shields. However, this pro will be able to move around as this SCV being forced to pull back and then start to mine once again. So this probe wants some SCV blood or SCV oil and going to go after this SCV once again. So this SCV taking some points of damage. The probe actually did take 5 points of natural damage as the SCV, so Sjow using another SCV to repair the current SCV as well, making it so it's very difficult to try to do any additional harassment. So being very smart about this, Sjow now fighting against this SCV already down to 25 hit points once again, as that one SCV now pulling back. Will this SCV be able to get some additional damage as well? And I think what really Joe's trying to do is he's trying to get as much damage onto these units so that any stalker play will be able to come in and perhaps get a couple free hits onto these units and take them out. One Marine already being trained, so Sjow not going for a tech lab, just wanting to train that straight Marine. And now we see one SCV, one probe hugging the south side of the map, and it looked like that probe was able to escape, but however the probe may be setting up a proxy pylon in the back of the base, which would be a very interesting strategy, and to say the least, as this probe now sitting here. This one probe, if he tries to put a pylon here, that would be very interesting to see, just because normally a player will check these vents over here, throw down a supply depot, making sure that there's nothing here. But even so, Sjow does not see what's happening right into this position, so that line of sight being used very well. So how's this all going to work out, as now we see a barracks now with a tech lab, most likely a reactor on this one, in order to, and also trying to train up perhaps concussive shells and stim packs. So now currently training up one Reaper, not however doing anything additional, as now this one probe being forced to pull out. We do see one supply depot there. Yeah, and I believe that supply depot is right there. This pylon could have been warped in, but those Marines able to take down that last probe. No, the probe's still wandering around here, getting a gas block at just the last moment. Very nicely done, and these poor Marines will be shooting at this assimilator for quite some time. One of the things about the assimilator is it has 900 hit points compared to the extractor or the refinery from Zerg and Terran. So the assimilator will be there for quite some time, acting as a little bit of a denial. However, wanting to get that canceled just so he can get those resources back. We now see one Reaper perhaps trying to move out. There is no one stalker in the base of Sjow. So Sjow now getting that robotics facility and getting an additional gateway, chrono boosting that gateway to get an extra zealot. We now see this Reaper perhaps moving around the map, that Reaper going to be used in order to do some scouting, as we now see Shark once again going into a command center before a factory. So this is going to be a very early, very aggressive harassment attempt. However, the Reaper does not know exactly where Sjow is at this stage in the game. So Sjow is still fighting in the comfort of Fog of War, as the Reaper will finally be able to make its way over here. We do see one sentry and one zealot here. Will this Reaper get off any probe kills? One pylon in the back, as we have a large group of units in the front of the base. Command center nearing completion, and in comes this Reaper. Reaper now going for some blood. We do have one stalker already coming out. That Reaper, now that stalker going after that one Reaper there. That Reaper already down to 20 hit points. Will he get off another shot? Not quite sure. Will it be able to get off? No, unable to kill it. And Sjow was able to bait that Reaper to try to go after that probe, and that probe essentially getting that kill by taunting that Reaper there. So now two stalkers, one zealot, and a sentry on the low ground. Army-wise, 400 versus 700. However, tech-wise, Zjow does have the stronger army and will be able to drop in some force fields in just a moment. A bunker now being placed down by Sjow. So Sjow with that bunker will be able to throw in some Marines and some Marauders into there, get some additional range. And now we see a 3 racks play. So now 3 racks play as Sjow continuing to train up more and more SCVs. Harvester count is 27 versus 29. However, Sjow with that additional energy on that orbital command will be able to call down mules in just a moment. And as it calls down mules, it should give Sjow just enough of an economic advantage to perhaps push out in a minute or two. It looks as though we are just throwing down 3 racks, 2 tech labs, so it's going to be mass Marauders and Marines. No additional Ghost Academy, no additional factory or a Stargate, so no real tech so far, as now Zjow is using Stalkers, Sentries, and Immortals as well. So this is going to be a 3-gate with 1 robotics facility. We do have 1 observer flying out over here, gaining sight to the natural expansion. Harvester count 30 versus 31. Sjow slightly ahead with that mule advantage once again, but currently supply lock at 62 over 62 food. Now, Sjow is currently getting some additional, the stim pack research, the combat shield, and getting some additional supply depots in order to try to alleviate himself from being supply locked. Zjow getting 2 additional assimilators on that low ground, and now Zjow perhaps just trying to get more and more gateways, more Immortals, and more Sentries. So this should turn out to be very well. However, Guardian Shields and Immortals both are very, very heavy gas-intensive units. Zealots need to get charged in order to zero in within that firing distance and the melee range on these Marauders. The Marauders already have that concussive shells, and now with that stim pack, we'll be able to kite some of these units. We do see a proxy pylon now being placed down by Zjow, so Zjow will be able to warp in some additional units very, very quickly in just 1 moment, as we have 3 gateways and currently, 3 warp gates currently operating, 2 Immortals, those Immortals dealing 50 damage per attack, firing slightly faster than a Marauder. Stalkers, on the other hand, firing slightly faster than that Immortal, as well as more Zealots continuing to be warped in. This will be a very, very dangerous situation for Zjow. Zjow trying to push a very heavily fortified Terran location. The only thing that would make it more fortified is 1 or 2 siege tanks. 1 Marine now moving out to gain sight will quickly get taken apart there, as a group of Zealots and Sentries able to meet that 1 Marine. We do see some Stalkers and Immortals on this high ground. More Stalkers being warped in as well. And now Zjow, sitting on a fair amount of gas, may be able to get off of Templar Archives in just a moment. Not researching Blink and not researching Charge either. That is a bit of a surprise, as there is just 1 observer in the air. Sjow does not really see that observer. You don't really see it until you try to start moving the camera, and then you'll see that 1 observer there. So Sjow just continuing to play Sim City or Sim StarCraft, and now going for that Templar Archives. Eventually we'll be getting that Psystorm in order to drop Psystorms on top of this army here. So will Zjow be able to take this game with Psystorm? The timing will be absolutely critical. Sjow now getting 1 medevac, so that 1 medevac, also getting a reactor as well, will be able to double train medevacs in just a moment if he has enough gas. Sjow is not fully saturated on this one particular refinery for some reason, so only mining with 4 SCVs on gas, 2 additional, we will have full saturation here in just a moment as well. It is actually better to have 2-2 rather than 3-1 when mining gas. I'll talk about that perhaps in a video later. We do have 1 observer in the base. Zjow able to see sight on all of the barracks here, and now a factory now finally moving out. We also see a lot of Marines on the low ground. 24 plus an additional 5, so 29 Marines plus a fair amount of Marauders, a dozen Marauders, and now 2 full bunkers as well, with 4 additional Marines and 2 Marauders as this factory now moves out. So what are these players going to be doing? 1 Marine moving out to try to do some scouting. We do see 1 probe activating this Zelnaga watchtower, and both sides fully saturated. Zjow sitting on 700 minerals, needs to be able to spend his minerals a little bit better. Perhaps chrono boost this Templar Archives and get some more Psystorm off, or for more High Templars off. 1 Marine now using Stim. Will it be able to get anywhere? And now 1 factory most likely will get shot down. That factory taking a lot of damage so far. Already within, 600, 500 damage. Will start burning in just a moment. There it goes. It's going to burn to a crisp and falling down there. So no additional starports for Shark, but Shark already has the 1 starport with 2 reactors that he needs. I don't see a Dark Shrine anywhere, as now we have what I call a million-man march booming out with medevac support. So that million-man march will be able to deal a lot of damage. We do have a lot of High Templars though, a lot of High Templars with Psystorm, and that Psystorm may be critical. I'm not sure if that one Marine was able to gain sight. No, not able to gain sight, and now an Observer being cast, being taken down by a Scanner Sweep and Marine Viking support, easily taking care of that issue. One Marine down here, one Marine up here, activating both the Naga Watchtowers. Army-wise, we have 5,200 versus 4,200. And now Shark may be able to simply attack move with this very, very potent army of Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs, 2 Vikings in the air. We do in fact see still a fair amount of High Templars on the low ground. Zealots do not have that. Oh, they do have that ground upgrade. So Stalkers moving at 2.95, Zealots moving at 2.75, only slightly slower than those Stalkers. And now 2 Vikings quickly getting shot out of the sky. However, a 59 mineral 100 army, and now another group of Marauders here. However, this is going to be a very bad flank. A nice Psystorm though, dealing a lot of damage, and wow, I hate it when I do that. That was absolutely bad. And let me try to fix this video. Yeah, that is always a shame. Yeah. Alright. Let me rewind this. So there's those Psystorms coming in, dealing a lot of damage towards those Marauders, and now 3,500 versus 3,500. All these units over here, Zealots engaging here, and another Psystorm should be slopped down. However, really, really bad. Oh my gosh, really bad High Templar micro there, losing all of those High Templars, and that is going to be it. These Marines and Marauders are just going to have a field day, finishing off the rest of that attack force. So really, really poorly done. It looked as though those Psystorms were going to do just spell doom. However, Sjow losing track of his micro for just 1 second. We do see a lot of warp gates. Now 7 warp gates. More Zealots need to be spammed out, but Shark on the move will be able to get off a lot of damage with these units, picking off these units one at a time. These High Templars do not have enough energy. No amulet research. Immortals trying to finish off the rest of this fight. However, it's not going to be enough. Another Immortal taken down there. And now I think this is going to be too much. A 24, 2650. More Zealots now being warped in on that low ground. More Chrono Boost needs to be used in order to try to speed up the cooldown on these Zealots. We do have some probes now trying to come out to engage. Will these Psystorm... Oh, merging into an Archon at just the last moment. Now we have additional Marauders coming in and joining on this fight. Medevacs moving out. However, Shark just able to finish off this fight so easily. We do have some probes. One Archon getting a couple quick kills there. But this Archon is all that is left, as more Marines, Marauders coming out to engage, and now Zealots able to swarm with that Zealot charge. However, not enough. It looks as though, yes, we do have that amulet research finally. Are we going to get some more Psystorm there? Another Psystorm. However, the Marauders just walking through it, able to finish off the rest of these High Templars. Stalkers, Sjow losing a lot of these probes on this low ground. And now, yeah, what a quick turnaround, losing 5 to 7 High Templars all of a sudden with that poor micro. High Templar should not be leading the charge in that particular situation. And then Sjow says, good game, well played. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Shark G, Sjow versus Sjow here on Metalopolis.